Let's begin. Um, that's my screen. Um, and I am going to play a few classical games of chess with the duration of per for each side, 30 minutes in each clock. So, I search for an opponent. So stand by for an opponent. So okay, so we returned to the live stream. I just enabled the live chat of the video, and I am waiting for the pairing before playing the first game for today. Let's practice to be sure that performance to my first game. So let's start with the openings. I have a very interesting opening for the black pieces that I recently presented in my series Best Opening Against E4, uh, which is very original and unique, and you have to know about it. So, E4, then B6, the main line is d4, then bishop b7, threatening the e4 pawn, knight c3, supporting the pawn. And now the key move is e6, where I open the black diagonal for my bishop. The most common response here, oh, we have to begin. Uh, that's the Zen mode. Okay, I have the black pieces. That was a little bit of a kind of theory. We begin with b6, the opening that I briefly presented a few seconds ago. So, bishop b7 threatening the e4 pawn. Bishop to d3 supporting the pawn. Okay, e6 is the main line. Maybe he will play knight to f3. That's very common. Okay, and now I can play knight to f6, threatening the e4 pawn with two pieces. while he has only one supporter. But if I play this move, he can push his pawn forward, so then I will have the opportunity to play knight e4 to d5. If I go knight to d5, he will then push his pawn forward to kick it away. But I don't like this kind of maneuvering. I will simply play 6 to put some pressure to the center. Okay, knight to d2, closing a little bit the position and connecting the knights simultaneously. Uh, okay, here I can play bishop to b4 uh, to foster a pin to the knight and the king. But this can be blocked easily by playing pawn to c3. And then I will e7 supporting the knight and then castling very easily. Uh, but d5 is also a good option to create something like a pawn break here in these two squares. Um, if I play this move, then he will push his pawn forward and then I will have to retreat. I will open my position, I will develop my knight, and I will play bishop e7 and then I will castle. I think that that's um, very useful, I think. Okay, my subscriber Eleni SK says the following comment. Very useful since you can elaborate both of your bishops. Okay, I will play pawn 5, creating this pawn break. So my subscriber appreciates um, this basic strategy of activating my bishops and of using them against my opponent. I retreat here. My opponent will probably play c4 to make another pawn break, and then I will play symmetrically with c5, and then knight to c6. That's my plan. I will gradually open the C file where I will place my rook. That's the main point of my strategy. That's dominance, positional dominance by activating my pieces to the maximal point. But here I have a close position, which also offers safety to my king. Um, you can observe here that his bishop is blocked by his knight. Um, so he has a bad bishop here, and also this pawn structure blocks this bishop. Okay, now he opened the squares available for the black square bishop in order to place his knight to g3. That's a very interesting initiative. I will probably play c5 unless my um my first option, which is bishop to e7. But I think that pawn to c5 is more aggressive, gain a tempo in this way. And then I can place my knight here, my rook here, then my bishop, and then I will castle. Okay, now he supports by creating a pawn chain. That's not bad for me. I can simply place my knight to c6, putting even more pressure to d4 with my with these two pieces. And I think that's my priority for the moment, for the instance. That's quite interesting. I think that my opponent played a3 and c3 previously to block this square for my knight, but I can also move my knight here. But my opponent also calculated that his queen also blocks this diagonal for my knight. So I only have these squares available, by putting my minor pieces at the edge of the board. At the center, they are more powerful and aggressive. Here I can play bishop e7, or I can take on d4 or rook c8. A lot of options, and pawn to c4, the advanced variation. Ah, I will go very simple, because then I will have a tempo to develop my piece and open up space for my king to castle. Now, my opponent plays h4 in order to strengthen the g5 square, where a bishop or a knight can be placed to foster a dangerous attack to my king side. Here I have many different options. First option, f6. I don't prefer personally, where after the exchange I develop my knight here, but also I leave this pawn unprotected. A safer option is h6, which threatens the g5 square. But it's very important to see where my opponent castles first. I will not castle rashly, but I will play. It's quite simple. And I think that it should be better to place here videos from my channel for promotion, because I need your um, I need this audience to expand my channel and gain more views. And also, I don't want to promote other creators here in this part of my screen. By the way, that's my new video, best opening against d4, part 1, which is about the Owens defense. You can watch it if you want. I just notifications for other videos of other channels, because maybe you don't have the same interests as YouTube algorithm proposes here. Okay, my opponent played rook to h3. That's insane. Why did he play that move? I am his move. That's crazy. I think it's a great weakness. What's his plan? Is he going to castle from the king's side, leaving his king exposed? That's that's insane. I don't know what to play. I think that the I should follow my strategy of dominance. So I will play rook to c8, but let's see if I can spot any weaknesses in this position. I don't think that I have a better move. I mean that if I play castle, then he will move all his pieces from the king side to organize an enormous attack, and I don't want to follow such type of variations which leave my king unprotected. So I will go c8, and I don't know why my opponent chose to play this odd move. Maybe my opponent chose to play a disrespectful opening. I don't know why, but in this level it's quite strange to see uh, this type of moves. That's beginner level. I think I don't know why did he play that move. Okay, point 0.5 more minutes on my opponent's clock. Maybe he saw this inequality in the clocks, and that's why he considered to play so awkwardly and I mean, idiotically. What's the point of this move of bringing his rook to the g file and controlling the whole file and threatening my. That's pointless because I just play this move. Okay, he played this move in order to fianchetto and then bring his rook here. So what's our plan? Um, Maybe he tries to push this pawn forward, but I have this square available. Um, Under these circumstances, I would play a move like I can play f6, but I am afraid of uh, rook to g3, which completely devastates my position. Um, I cannot castle here because then he will have his rook here and his bishop x-raying my king side. Uh, I can go for a6, blocking the square and also trying to develop the b pawn to b5. I can go for this move, but I don't think that I have a better option. I think it's a priority, tactical priority. I mean, and positional. Then I will probably retreat. I will create a strong battery on the C file, quite realistic for a dominant position. And also, let me check if my live stream works right now. Okay, I think that it works very well. Okay, let's continue. So, let me remind you that we played the opening that I presented in my latest video. That's the bishop d3 variation that I present in my video. But I think that knight to d2 was a surprise for me because I don't remember presenting this variation in my video. And that's the difficult position of the variation, the difficult variation, the advanced variation that probably I will show you in part 2 of my video, which now is not available on YouTube because I made several corrections, so it's not available right now. Okay, that's quite interesting because my opponent played rook to b3, as I previously mentioned, threatening my pawn but also leaving this pawn unprotected. So, what's preferable, to grab this pawn and leave my king side unprotected? I don't think so that. I don't think so. I will play g6, but then he can sacrifice a bishop maybe. I think that there is a tactic here, but I am not quite sure. Is there any sacrifice? Maybe I have to reconsider my position. I don't know what's going on with this rook, but surely I have to protect this pawn, and surely I don't have to castle now. That's quite dangerous because of this pin. There are two options. First option uh, is to defend this position. Second option to counterattack, but I don't know how to counterattack because these pawns block my knight. My knight is also blocked right here. My bishop uh, has only this option, which is not a priority for the moment. I think that I can also... I cannot play rook to g8 for two reasons. First reason, the pin. Second reason, the threat of the bishop. Okay, I think that the best option here is g6, but let's analyze the initiatives that my opponent may have. Okay, if he sacrifices here a bishop, what happens? I think absolutely nothing happens, so he does not have to sacrifice anything. I will just, but I think that there is no risk in this position. I just extended my king side a little bit, but I'm not going to castle from the king side. I will just leave my king at the center, creating opposition with the opposing king. And guess what? My opponent has 3 minutes more in his clock. Let's hurry up. Okay, I think that uh, now his pawn on h4 is hanging. But I also spotted something else which is very interesting, I think. If he pushes his pawn forward, I cannot take for two reasons. First reason, I open my g file and my king has no protection. He has a very closed position, and that's quite dangerous and risky. Also, if I grab this pawn, I will have double pawns and I will not be able to support this odd pawn structure. So if he pushes his pawn forward, I have to push my pawn forward in order to close the file and add more protection to my position. There is something else here that may be taken under consideration. The threats of this pawns at the center. Uh, in this kind of position, my minor pieces are quite restricted, but my plan is to take the advantage of the C file because that's a way to break the monotony and prepare my attack. I mean that my opponent has done absolutely nothing for his attacking. He has no attacking chances. He just uh, maintains his minor pieces to the first line of his structure. Also, these three pieces are unable to prepare. Now he developed his bishop and he opened the c file to place his rook. Maybe he will offer me an exchange, but there is something very interesting here. He left this pawn unprotected. Let's see why. Okay, first of all, if I grab this pawn, there is the option of just recapturing. And if he plays that, I will have to go back. And because of these two attackers, my opponent will gain this pawn back. I don't think that that's a gift. That's a tactic, basically. Um, I think that um, knight a7 would be useful, but I place my knight at the edge of the board. Basically, I can play symmetrically here, or even I can play rook to c7 to create the battery, but there is no reason of playing this move. I will go for the pattern because I don't have many options. And now I think that I just understood the plan of my opponent. I am quite sure that his plan is to place his queen here to play to make the sacrifice that I previously mentioned because this one will be on. Okay, he played queen to d2, but if he played queen to c2, I would have a counter attack here, an undiscovered attack with my knight by capturing the b4 pawn. Okay, so let's go forward. He created the battery here with his queen and bishop, threatening my pawn here, but I can simply play h5 to avoid all these threats. And then he can easily place his knight here, which will not cause any serious problems. It will just threaten my f7, my e6 pawn. I think that the pawn on h6 is quite useful here, and I don't know if it is worthwhile to push it forward. But also, I cannot grab this pawn here. I think it's quite complex. I can play, but I don't think that I have another choice. I will blockade this pawn, and also I will save my pawn. There is nothing else. But I just figured out a solution for my problem. After knight to g5, I will make this kind of maneuvering to offer an exchange. So I will add an attacker to this square. Oh, very interesting. He just sacrificed the rook. My opponent sacrificed the rook. If I take, he takes. That's a check. I go here, and then he goes here. And if I go here, what? Why is the rook? If I go here, what's the plan then? What's the plan? He goes maybe. Then he plays queen to f4. F4. I will have a mistake. I will have these two squares protected, but I will leave the f7 pawn, the f7 square unprotected. Okay, what if I play, I don't know. Here I cannot accept this sacrifice. It's a losing mistake. But I think that I can grab this pawn to counterattack a little bit. That's not the right choice to accept this sacrifice. It is a forced checkmate. I cannot avoid it because the f7 square will be too weak and there will be a queen checkmate. Wow, insane. He sacrificed the rook again. If I grab this pawn, that's the same pattern. And if I go here, he grabs the bishop. Oh, problem. I just go here. Because if I go here, he grabs my bishop. So I will go. What he can play? He can move his rook here, but then I will have bishop e7, and if he grabs my pawn, that's an undiscovered attack again with my knight. Oh, I just spotted something really interesting. If he goes here, I play this move. He can no longer move here, here, or here, or here, or here. He can also move here, where we make the exchange. If he goes here, he loses a rook. If he stays here, he also loses a rook. Because then, after this move, I will go here, and this tactic with the white light square bishop will not be uh, charged again. Okay, at this point, I can just put even more pressure to his rook. The position, as you see, he offers an exchange of rooks. He will give me a check. I will go here, or even here. Not here because I will block the protection of the dark square bishop. After the exchange, if I go here, my king will be very exposed. Whereas if I go here, my king will be protected more than in the previous variant. I will just accept the exchange because if I don't accept the exchange, he will grab my pieces. So I will just exchange. Obviously, he's going to deliver me a check to my king, but I have the rightest solution here. I can also bring my knight here, and after this knight maneuvering, I will support my bishop. He may grab my knight. That's not quite dangerous, I think. Okay, I go for king to e8. I explain why. What's my, which are my thoughts behind this move. In this position, the g file is quite exposed. He x-rays the position. I have blocked knights. A battery in this diagonal. The c file that I never exploited. Queen to f4. Maybe his plan is to bring his queen to the light squares and deliver me a checkmate gradually. But that's not so simple. I'll go back. That's a very difficult position, a very bad position. At least we have the same time at the clock, which is encouraging for me because the position is discouraging, definitely. And my pawn is too weak. I can go for this maneuvering, but I don't want the possibility of making an exchange here. And now he sacrifices the pawn. What's the purpose? Of course, a mate in one. But if I go here, after the exchange, I am fine. No problem in my position and my... So that's not a big deal. No problem. That's advantageous. He just dropped the advantage that he gained from the previous 7 or even 8 moves. Insane game. He sacrificed the rook twice, and now he sacks the pawn for a checkmate in one that I denied, of course. This game is crazy. One of the craziest positions I had ever seen. If you want, dear audience, uh, I can remind you the starting position of the game for those who just joined the chat, the live stream. My opponent played. Okay, here I just grab the pawn. There is not other choice. He can deliver me a check. I will go here or here. That's difficult. We will see. Okay, for those who just joined the live stream, we played the Owen's defense. The bishop d3 variation. I have adequate time to explain it to you. Okay, so here we played symmetrically at the f file with these two knights. Then he connected the knights and I created a pawn break. He pushed his pawn forward, attacking my knight. And basically, I closed the position that way. And that was a move that determined the entire plan of the game. Because, as you see, after these exchanges at the center, my minor pieces are a little bit disabled to move. So that was a very strange game. I think it is because um, now it's my turn to play, and it's quite interesting. I mean, okay, in this position, he X-rayed my king side, and also he threatened my G file. In response to this kind of strategy, let's say, I played this move. And now it's insane. He sacrificed the rook. And now I gained the pawn. He sacrificed the rook again. But I denied. He played here offering an exchange. We made the exchange and he gave me a check. I went back. He brought his queen on the attack. I brought my bishop back. He pushed his pawn forward, but I added some protection with my knight. We make the exchange here, and now the check that I previously mentioned. Okay, so I go back, and then he will give me a check. Then I will only have this square available, which is a force, and he will give me a check again, which is very bad for my position. Completely devastated. That's quite pessimistic, I mean. But I will keep playing till the end because the basic rule in chess is never give up. There are always attacking chances and opportunities, but you always have to spot the rightest move. Eight minutes versus 7 minutes and a half approximately in my opponent's clock. Let me show you something. If he plays this kind of a tactic here, he will block all these available squares from the center of this structure. So I will make this repetition and I will go back. So there is a scenario of playing queen to f5 here, but then I will also have a force where I will go here and here and here, and I will add even more protection to my king, and that's very optimistic, by the way. My opponent has 6 minutes and a half in his clock, and he spends a lot of time thinking about his next move. Maybe he's the right tactic for a checkmate, but he will not checkmate my king. I am quite sure that I will find a solution. I go back. That's a force, as I previously mentioned. Here are two options. Ah, a check with his queen. That's surprising. I will go here, because obviously I don't go to the center. It's more safe to go here. Oh, that's a fork. I can go here or here. I suppose here. I just lost my queen. Oh, but as I said, I will fight till the end. I will not resign. I will fight till the last second of the game. 5.5 of on my in my opponent's clock. I can grab this pawn. He may move his rook here to support it, or he can go here, ignoring this pawn but exploiting this positional advantage. He can also deliver me a check, but I will go here, adding even more protection to my king, but pushing him at the edge of the board, at the corner basically. Uh, he can also play this move, approximating even more my king, but that's exactly the advantage of my position. I selected a close position, which is very difficult for my opponent, even if he has a +7 advantage in material. He plays bishop g7, threatening my knight twice, so I will have to move it or to support it. I mean that it's quite risky to move it in a square like this or this. I leave this pawn unprotected. I will simply move my rook here because his queen will not be able to move here or here or here. Very safe. If he accepts the exchange, I recapture with the rook. He will be able to go here, here. Um, Very interesting. And then what do I do? I can then just retreat the bishop and then grab another bishop unless he captures the pawn. It doesn't matter. I will play this to add some more protection. I don't want to move my knight. That's the basic reason for playing this move. And also, I don't want to move my bishop here because it will be too weak. I mean that if I place my rook here, he will not be able to enter deeper in the f file. That's the my basic defense wall. If the opponent runs out of time while having a +7 material advantage, I mean that I need a victory. Uh, no matter the reason of the victory, the time, the checkmate, I don't care. I just want the points because I solely have 2,200 points and my opponent has 2,000 only. So the defeat will cost me lots of points. And also, I am 300 points away from my goal. Uh, Playing style is too weak for reaching the Grandmaster level. I mean, I am not ready to do it, I think. But with some practice, I will be able. Okay, now he pins my king to the rook. So surely I have to move my king. If I go here, I enable this check and basically I move because I go back then. If I go here, that's the corner of the board. I think that's the safest place for my king. Unless I want to place my king here, which is even more safe because there is a closed diagonal. So that's more safe thanks to this pawn, of course. Oh, he played knight to e3, threatening this pawn. This square is blocked, threatening this move, which is a fork, but I can give a check by the way and escape from this disadvantageous position, and he cannot go here because of this pawn. Okay, so after this move, uh, it is quite rational to play rook to e6 to make a pin, but he will be able to go here. In this scenario, I will have the great move bishop to d8, blocking his squares, and I will give it a try. If he places his bishop here or even here, I will just retreat, or even go here if he goes to this square, not in this square, to maintain the pin and of course the threat in these two squares. But oh no, that's basically he will be able to grab my knight. So I will retreat to this square then. Unless after this move he moves his queen, which is the most. Okay, here I have several options. What I can play? I can move something of a species. Can I give a check to a check, let's say a threat to this queen? Because after this move, he cannot grab this knight with his queen, and if he grabs it with a bishop, he loses a queen. So I can play this. Just move my knight to a safer place, not here, but here I think it's more advantageous and more centralized, but due to this threat, I think that this move is more rational. Oh, he sacrifices the queen! He sacrifices the queen! Amazing, I just grab it. But what do I do now? I have these two pawns hanging. If I play this move, no. Oh, I can foster a pin to his knight and rook. Uh, then he will basically protect it. But I can also bring my king to the b6 square. That's an alternative. But we must be aware of this check by grabbing the pawn. So I will basically retreat my knight here to protect this pawn, and also his rook cannot be placed in any of these squares due to my perfectly placed bishops, pair of bishops. Okay, and this move threatens the bishop by the way, so that's great. He goes here, and I go here. as my plan says, I threaten his bishop. That's a blitz game. Now we have 2 minutes and a half on our clock. I go here in order to place my knight here and add a blockade to this file. I go here now. He grabs it. I go here. He offers an exchange, but I don't want an exchange. I will go here, opposition of bishops, a basic pattern. And now he goes here, threatening this pawn, x-raying the pawn. What can I play? I can move my king forward, and then I will bring my bishop here. What? He sacrificed the rook again. That's that's a mistake. Why? I just grab it. And now I make the exchange. I don't know. Uh, Interesting, by the way. Okay, I bring my king here, and then here to protect it. But I'm not sure. Here or here? If I go here, there is protection, so I will go here. And my bishop helps a lot this position. I will make something like maneuvering with the bishop. Um, what do I do here? I can go here. I will be forced to sacrifice my bishop. What can I can place it here. Okay, here. And if he pushes, I take. I take. I go here. I take. He pushes. I take. I go here. I cannot take. Opposition. He will promote. That's a lost position. Okay, waiting for the checkmate. Mate in one. Let's analyze the position. I lose the game. I will recommend an analysis from my computer. Wow, I didn't know that I had 86% accuracy and my opponent had 92% accuracy. Insane. Okay, face. We played the honest defense. Theory moves. Okay, here I see the first inaccuracy. But I think that that's mostly an attacking move for overextending uh the king side in order to create some attacking chances. Uh that was a mistake. The Computer proposes the move that I mentioned previously. Okay, I accept this recommendation. Oh, he proposes to sacrifice the pawn. If he takes the pawn, what do I do? Oh, I deliver a check. And then, ah, that's that's a simple tactic. Okay, but I played this move for dominance. I played so much. Okay, he sacrificed the rook, and I could sacrifice the knight. Why? I could sacrifice the knight. Oh, I understood. Okay, by sacrificing the knight. Wait, if if I just took the rook, I would go here, here. Yeah, that's exactly what I presented previously. And I think that he takes here, of course. Equal. That's an equal position. I didn't spot this variation. Interesting. Okay, and after this exchange, I could just grab the rook. Interesting. And that's um a protecting structure for the king. Okay, let's return back to the game. That was a blunder. I could just have grabbed the rook. Interesting. And after this and this, it was the same pattern. It was basically a mistaken calculation, and I could grab the bishop with the rook. Oh, that's complications of the engine. No, let's go back. Okay, that's how the game evolved. And here I lost the game. We leaded the game to the end game. Okay, let's learn from our mistakes. Instead of playing this move, we said that we play f6. Good. Instead of playing this move and enabling and allowing to my opponent to grab the pawn, what else I could have played? I I could have grabbed the pawn. No, we said that I lose this pawn. Okay, let's see the solution. Ah, I change sides of attacking. Great. I I don't grab the rook. I sack the knight. Right. But now I grab the rook. Nice. That was the lesson for today. Unfortunately, I lost the tomorrow. It's the fifth episode of the series. Now my rating is 2168, but I will return to the level of the candidate master, which is above 2200, but all this unofficially because Lichess does not recognize the official, neither the ratings. Thanks for watching. See you in my next video.